welcome to the Work Hard People's Podcast. Hope everybody out there's having a great day. I'm the old guy, James. Just want to thank everybody for all the likes, subscribes, the interaction. I really love it. Um, we're very grateful that everybody is engaging with us. And today we have Mr. Devin Stiff. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So, I met Devin at my local gym. He is a very young guy. One of those dudes that is, well, you know how young people are. They're ego lifters. They're in there slamming their smelling salts, hitting the weights. And we just got to talking, and he was looking forward, thinking about maybe doing a show, wanted to transition and get a little hypertrophy training in. And so we started working together. And today we're going to kind of talk about that, what that transition's been like from strength training into hypertrophy, and what it's like working with me. So, with that said, how are you doing today? You having a good day today?
Yeah, I'm having a pretty good day today. I got to hit some chest earlier, so it's always a good day when it's chest day.
Yeah, chest day, right? Chest day is always
Right.
good. Sun's out, guns out, and chest day. Nothing wrong with that.
There's no sun out today. It was cold.
No, that's
It,
true. It is a little cold. We're both in hoodies today, so
yeah,
that's nice. But when I one of the things I love about Devin is he's a very disciplined guy, very hard worker, very respectful young man. You don't see that in a lot of people today. He's a college student. He has aspirations of moving into the fitness world as a trainer himself. And I love how respectful you are. You are a good young man, and it is a pleasure to work with you. And
appreciate
I
that.
thank you for that because it's not very common in today's world. But with Devin, he like I said, he was really into the strength training, and most of the times I saw him in the gym, he was doing, how many times can he lift it 3 times? Doing 3x3s or 5-3-1, just really trying to move heavy weight. And strong kid, lean kid, and his yes, you could tell he was strong, but what he really wanted to do, going into looking forward to doing a show, you're starting to want to gather that 3D look and get the hypertrophy going and really grow the
Right.
muscle bellies. And so that's what we've been working on. How has that transition been from you from the strength into the hypertrophy training?
Well, like I said, man, it was crazy. It was a big change for real at first, especially those first three leg days hurling in the toilet, man. I mean, that was crazy. I mean, but I really appreciate everything about it, though. I mean, it was a great experience. It was good to learn like that. The set sets were a big thing, really, that I love to implement in my training, especially now. But the set sets were really a big change. The FST7 was a really big change. And I say overall, it's been a great change. I mean, I've got more muscle endurance now. I've got more muscle in general, and I'm just excited to see where it goes from here.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I first started working with you, your chest, like I said, you were strong, but it looked like you had plates of armor on there.
Hmm.
And now, I mean, your chest, it almost looks like, for lack of a better word, it almost looks like you had a boob job. I mean, you're very 3D, right? You have a
Yes, sir.
huge crease. You've got great separation. Your fibers are really starting to rip apart, and we're actually still bulking. Like,
Right.
when I started with you, you were about 160 pounds, right? Like right in
Right.
there, and you're up to 175. And I mean, you're starting to rip apart. The shoulders are really starting to puff out. And just for people that don't know, FST7 stands for fascia stretch training. And the whole design behind that training, Hani Rambod created it. And the whole design behind that training is literally to stretch. So the muscle lives in a sac of fascia. Anybody that's ever been hunting or skinned an animal, when you do that, you can see that the muscle lives in the fascia. It's like a sac that the muscle lives in. The whole idea behind fascia stretch training is to swell the muscle with so much blood that you can stretch that fascia to allow the muscle to grow even bigger.
Hmm.
And set sets do a very similar thing. Seth Feroce created those, and set sets are more of a mental thing, just to try to push you to
Big
that
time.
next level. Because you're basically doing, say, like a set of 10 with a certain weight. You cut the weight in half and double the reps. It's just a variation of a drop set, but it is very difficult to accomplish. And that was the one thing I noticed with you was the muscle endurance, right? You had the strength, you had the desire, but the muscle endurance was not there to
Right on.
really do the reps needed for hypertrophy.
Right.
How was that getting over that? Getting that muscle fatigue so quickly. And like now, I mean, it's way better now.
Right. It's
But
a hundred
at
percent better.
first, it was like, I mean, you were gassing. You're like, man, we're dropping the weights
Yeah.
like by half than you would normally do, just try to get you to be able to get those reps in. What was that like going through that?
Man, that was crazy. It's like I said earlier with the leg days, throwing up in the toilet. But what really was crazy to me is whenever we would start doing the incline bench, and normally I can do out, but when we first started, I was like, I can do 225 for 8, right? Man, when we started throwing that just 135 on for 8, I was gassed by then, man, because the way you had me training, it was like, all right, you want to be out here and then you want to stop here. And as soon as you go up, go right back down. I mean, that was what really got me. I mean, because I used to be with the incline bench, it'd be like a regular grip, hit off the chest up. You can sit for a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's some about that. As soon as you get down and back up, you're going right back down. It was a big change. I would say it really hit me how big of a change it was though, was whenever we started doing arm day. My first arm day, I realized this is real deal because I had never been that pumped in my arms before. I mean, I literally couldn't even flex my tricep and there was no separation in my tricep. It was just a big blob of blood. And I remember the first time we did it, Will Blocker walked up to me and pressed on my arm, and there was just he said he could see the blood just on my skin. It was that pumped, and I
Yeah.
that's when I realized, all right, okay, this is the real deal. This is gonna be fun, but it's gonna hurt, but it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and I'm telling you, the way your physique is starting to transform. I mean, your shoulders, dude. Your shoulders, they're hyper adapters, man. They have really adapted to the training. Your chest as well. I mean, very swell, and your back. And I have lots of pictures I'll be posting throughout the podcast so that people can see kind of what you're looking like now. And but what a lot of people lose focus in is hypertrophy. Yeah, sometimes you do some half reps and things like that, but you still want to do full range of motion. Kind of.
Right,
It's like you want to stop an inch short of locking out and an inch short of resting. You want to keep the weight in the muscle the entire movement for every rep as long as you can. And that is what, so a lot of people think there's two types of muscle fibers, type 1, type 2.
hmm
There's actually three.
right,
Type 1, type 2, and type 2X. In order to, type 1, that's that initial burst, that strength burst, you're very short lasting, doesn't need oxygen. When you start getting into type 2 and type 2X, you require oxygen. So that is what, by being able to really work all three muscle fibers, is what really starts to swell the muscle. And then
right,
when you throw in the drop sets and the FST7 and the SES sets and you start stretching the fascia, that now allows the muscle to even grow bigger, which is what
right,
gives you that 3D look. Because if you're going to
right,
get on stage, that's what you're looking for. It's not about how much you lift, it's how you're lifting the weight and getting that bubbly 3D look, right? Where you can
right,
see every muscle, all the fibers, every muscle individually, because that's what they're judging you on stage,
right.
right? So that's what we're trying to get to. Um,
Yeah.
your work ethic, like I remember with you, like squats. I've
hmm
seen you squat before we started working very heavy. And when we started doing squats, and I had you stopping like not much, just short, and we were doing squats for quad focus. So we weren't
Mhm.
going ass to grass, right? We were
Right.
using the
Not at
hack
all.
squat for ass to grass. We were trying to keep very quad focused. And just so you know, like our when we get into squats next time, we're going to start incorporating front squats, which is either going to be harder on you're going to have to lighten the weight again,
Right.
but your legs will grow, right? But we were
Right.
really trying to keep it in the quad. So I had you going down just to 90, right? And
Right.
then n- all the way up, but not locking the knees and right back down. And at first, you were like trying to get up there and take a breath. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Man, I remember I thought that I was good at squats. And I mean, I was doing like 405 for 2 or 3 reps before. Man, you had me in there with 135 on squats about to cry. I mean, it was that bad.
So what's that been like? What's it like working with me?
It's tough. It's mentally tough, but it's the best experience I think I've ever had working with somebody. As far as a trainer, a coach, that has been, it's very humbling. Like you've humbled me in the gym 100%. But I would say it's definitely the best experience I've ever had working with somebody because you not only push me, but you're not one of those coaches that's just like, all right, go, you have this to do, go do it. You have pushed me to do it the proper way with the correct form, but you've also kept in touch with me. We've joked around, obviously, had fun, had little fun conversations, but you've been really in touch with me on the phone, like, hey, you still got these calories left. You need to get these calories in, or hey, you're not growing the way we want, but here's what we're going to do to change that. You've actually put in the time and effort to work with me and keep up with everything instead of like some trainers where it is like, all right, you come in for 45 minutes to an hour, we're going to do this, and then you go home and eat a cheeseburger. I mean,
Yeah. Well, a lot of coaches are they're just looking to make a buck, right? Which I
mhm,
get it. Everybody's got to make a living, but their programs are usually very cookie cutter. I
right,
none of my programs are cookie cutter. They are
not at
tailored
all.
to individuals. And I work with bodybuilding clients like yourself, and I work with people that just want to lose weight. But I cater programs to the individual based on needs, food likes, all different kinds of things.
Right.
But for you, I mean, we're gearing up to do a show. So
Hmm.
and like you're ready. You just gotta if you want to do a men's physique show, you could literally step on stage in 12 weeks and probably win like an OCB show. I'm telling you right now. You have the muscle in the right areas. You're very 3D looking now. The only thing we'd really have to do with you is diet you down, get you lean and
Right.
shredded, and you are on stage.
Right.
So, I mean, we put 15 pounds on you, and you still have abs. Which,
Hmm.
what do I always tell you? We're gonna bulk, but you're always gonna keep your abs. Soon as your
Right.
abs go away, we're gonna go into a maintenance phase until they come
Right.
back. Right?
Like you were telling me a couple of weeks ago, you said, I don't care if your abs are just barely poking through the skin. That's still abs right there. I mean,
Correct.
right.
Long as you can see them. So.
Right.
But yeah, no, I am very impressed with the things that you've been able to accomplish. Uh, like I said,
Appreciate that.
your physique is totally different. I mean, we've turned you
Right.
from. Don't get me wrong, people. I don't want you to get the wrong impression. Devin was lean. He looked like he had plates of armor on him. Very strong, very lean. He's the same way, but now he's got this nice V taper going, these big round shoulders, big round chest, legs are really starting to pop. And if I could get him to eat more, college kids, I don't know what it is. They're so busy studying, they don't have time to eat all the time. But if I could get this boy to eat some more food, he'd even
I
get
wish I
bigger.
could.
So,
I've been trying like so one thing I've been really making sure I do is even if I can't go to the dining hall, I always have protein bars and Rice Krispie treats in my room and I have olive oil in my room.
yeah,
So I take a tablespoon of olive oil, throw that back, and then I eat two Rice Krispie treats and two protein bars if I can't go to the dining hall.
Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, and so because Devin's metabolism is like a freaking supersonic jet. Like this kid's probably eating 4,000 calories a day, and we are
It really,
struggling to put on a pound a week. So, uh,
it's hard.
his metabolism is churning because he does carry a lot of muscle, and you did when we started. That's why I've been trying to get you to eat so much damn sushi because
Yeah,
that
I
will
love
help. But
sushi.
yeah, I like it too. But yeah, it
Sushi's
would definitely
expensive
help.
though.
Yeah, you need to find one of them buffets, man. You're in
There
Montgomery,
is
go to the Hibachi Grill.
there's a buffet in Auburn that my dad and I like to eat at. It's actually just called Hibachi Sushi Buffet. That's the name of
Yeah.
it. And man, I'm telling you, you go in there right when they open, they have all that fresh sushi lined up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's a game changer. It's
Yeah, I
delicious.
love it, man. It's great. It's good for you. And here's the thing, it's the one thing about sushi is the rice is much more higher calorie than your
Hmm.
normal rice because they use like a sugar water substance to kind of make it
Hmm.
sticky. But you're still getting that fresh fish. So while it still is, it's not the best thing to eat, but for a cheat meal or really putting on some calories, it's a better alternative than going out and housing two or three cheeseburgers
Right.
or stuff like that. And the other side effect that I really love from sushi, most of the people I work with, when they go on a sushi bender and then hit the gym, the pump is like second to none.
Dude, it is crazy.
Yeah.
I remember it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. My dad and I went to this that sushi place, and I actually went and got some pump stuff from Southern Nutrition, which was like right down the road from it.
Yeah.
And I took that with the sushi in my system. Dude, I'm telling you, I thought I was about to literally have to go get surgery because my chest was so pumped out. I mean, I was like, I could feel my skin stretching so much. It was that pumped up.
I love those pumps, man. Skin splitters. Those are fantastic.
I
They're
started, I had a zit right here on my chest today when I was hitting chest. And I was doing my FST7 with the cable flies going
yeah,
high. And I looked down and the zit had popped and was bleeding because I was so pumped up.
that's funny, man. That's funny. So, hey, Devin, tell us a little bit. What are you studying in school?
I am a exercise science major. My goal is I want to get this degree and I want to go back to school, probably at either UAB, maybe Faulkner, and get my doctorate. Because really, the big thing for me is I want to be a strength and conditioning coach, possibly, or a personal trainer. I haven't really decided yet. But strength and conditioning, as far as I think I would like to do it at the high school level, even at my old high school,
Or
because
college, even?
yes, college even. But if I were to
Yeah,
do it at a high school level, I would really love to do it at Tallahassee
yeah.
because that's the thing, in my opinion, those guys, they don't have any type of. I was a football player. I worked with the weights coaches there, and it is honestly the probably it's awful. It's terrible. Those workouts are just they're not any good. And it's not the coaches' faults. I mean, they're just football coaches. They don't know what they need to be doing for strength and
Do
conditioning.
they not have a strength and conditioning coach at Tallahassee?
They do not. They have the normally it's the head football coach, head baseball coach, head softball coach, head whatever coach doing the workouts. And I was in my senior year, after football season, I started working out with the basketball guys with Coach Mixon. And he he actually ended up letting me make their workouts for the basketball and soccer guys
Yeah,
because he was like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing. Show me what to do. And so I sat down with him one day at uh in the gym after they got done working out. I was like, dude, I would do this right here opposed to this. And like, here's why. And he started doing it with them. And I'm not even kidding you, those kids, like they had only been doing it probably 12 weeks. And whenever they hit their first maxes, I kid you not, every single one of their maxes doubled
yeah.
because of what I I'm not trying to say me, but like from what I help. helped the coach do. And that's what really got me into like, okay, I
So
enjoy
Devin,
this.
hold on. You have an understanding
Hmm.
of the science behind strength and conditioning. You
Right.
have that basic background. So
Hmm.
it's not a me thing. It's just passing on knowledge,
Right.
right? You've gained that knowledge and you just pass it on to them and so they're able to grow from that.
Hmm.
So because strength and conditioning, I mean, you could do, I mean, I have a thing in strength and
Certification.
conditioning myself. Yeah. So
Right.
I'm certified with that, with strength and conditioning, with personal training. I'm an elite trainer with ISSA. I'm a certified nutritionalist. I'm actually thinking about, well, lately I talked to you about this lately for CE credit. I've been studying kinesiology, and I'm thinking
Hmm.
about also getting e- just to have, mainly to have the certification, but the certification for hypertrophy for bodybuilding. But
Right.
I never got that certification because I was always very familiar with it. And I
Right.
studied from some of the greats and the great coaches that have ever, trained bodybuilding athletes.
Right.
So, but just having the certification might be nice. But lately, I've been studying the kinesiology more than anything. Have you studied any of that in your pursuit?
Right now I have not. That's actually not next semester, but the next I have a kinesiology class. And I guess in a way I have studied it on my own, like you said, like learning, like just going online and reading about it even, or going and watching a YouTube video. But I had a athletic training class, which people think of athletic training as you're training athletes. No, that's not what AT is, but AT is where you're like you're wrapping ankles and stuff like that. You're learning
Yeah.
CPR, but in my AT class, we buckled down on a lot of the kinesiology, and that was a lot of fun to me. I really enjoyed that. My academic advisors actually got a doctorate in kinesiology, and I talked to her about it a lot.
Hani, my mentor, who I
Yeah.
study, that he has a master's in kinesiology.
Okay.
That was his main study in school, and
Mm-hmm.
he's been a trainer. Like he started train. I think he was still in high school when he started training.
Mm-hmm.
He went to work for one of the original 24-hour fitnesses
Mm-hmm.
as a trainer, and kinesiology is what he studied, and that's what he uses.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I love kinesiology. I think it's really fun, but it's not per se my passion far as strength and conditioning goes. Like, I mean, yes, they tie hand in hand,
Well,
obviously.
yeah, because just for people that don't know, kinesiology is the study of the chain reaction of the body and its movements.
Right,
So when you do certain movements, certain things are going to happen, right?
right,
In order to squat, what is the chain reaction of the muscle fibers that go, right? From
right.
all the way down into the ankles, all the way through the calves, the legs, the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes,
Mm-hmm.
into the lower back, into everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it studies, and it studies how all of that stuff locks together. And one of the things, like I pointed out to you, was like, if you take your hand and put it out in front of you and rotate your palm, your chest is going to flex.
Right,
That is what kinesiology teaches us, is how does that work? So as you start turning, the chest automatically flexes.
right.
Those muscle fibers get tighter. So if we
That
can do that in a movement, we
right.
can have a much greater contraction of the pecs, which is going to
I
create more
yeah.
growth.
I still remember when you first told me that. That was when we were doing incline dumbbell fly, and I was going like this, like hug the tree, and then
Yeah.
up. And you said, "Hey, turn your hands like that." And I remember I was like, "All right, I need lighter dumbbells. I need."
Yeah, it locks it up, right? It's
Yeah,
the
it was
same
crazy.
thing. It's the same thing with the rear delts. A lot of people, you'll see them, they
Hmm.
put their hands like this and they fly.
Hmm.
But if you rotate the hand into the movement,
Hmm.
it locks down the rear delt. It just makes it contract so much harder. And so that's why I'm studying kinesiology, because it's going to help me with body movements and how to greater contract a certain muscle group, or even isolate a contraction to get
Right.
more out of a movement without having
100%.
to lift as much weight. Because strength training is great. Strongman stuff is great. I got a lot of buddies that do powerlifting tournaments, strongman tournaments, stuff like that. But here's the one thing you got to always understand: that stuff is eventually going to get very hard on your joints,
Hmm.
very hard on your tendons and ligaments. If you can find a way to get more out of a lighter weight and not create that damage, but still really be able to get that 3D look or really be able to grow muscle tissue, that's a benefit. It's going to reduce
100%.
energy or reduce injury and create great results.
100%. That's one thing that I remember when we started working out was you were like, okay, on your incline barbell movements, the biggest problem people make is their hand placement. And you were like, all right. And you were like, don't go all the way down. You're going to tear a pec. That was a big thing that
Or
I
get
remember.
into the
Right.
shoulder, right?
Shoulder, right.
Bust the shoulder up.
And that's one thing that I realized has been a lot better is from learning with you is I don't have as much joint pain as I used to, other than my hip, obviously, from that
Yeah,
one
but you
time.
have an injury from that, right?
Yeah, it's like it's weird, man. It's like it'll hurt some days and then some days it won't. I'm thinking about scheduling a doctor's appointment for it because last week when I was squatting, I forgot to tell you this. I ended up having to go to the pendulum squat because it was hurting so bad on regular squats.
Yeah.
And when I got on the pendulum squat, it didn't bother me. I don't know
Pendulum's a
why.
great movement, by the way.
Oh, I love the pendulum. It's my
Especially if
favorite.
you don't extend all the way and you keep it in the quad.
Dude, yeah. I only went at like two plates. It was
Yeah.
good. It was
It's a
heavy,
brutal
but
movement.
I love it. Like
Brutal
that's
movement.
what Will Blocker and I were talking about a couple of days ago. We are like, man, I wish we had a pendulum squat at T-Fit.
I need to get Will on here, man. I'd love to chat him up. That
Dude,
dude is
he's
he's
a
he's
beast.
he's a beast, dude. He's a
That's like
beast, man. I like
that's like one of my best friends too, man. Like him and I, we're like we love this. Like we always
I'm gonna tell you what I love to watch. Will reminds me of Nick Walker, the way he lifts. He is
yes,
super controlled. There's no fast rhythm with Will. It is into the muscle, full contraction. He is slow on the eccentric, allows a full stretch right back into the contraction, and it shows. I mean, that dude in the last 4 months, I mean, he had to put on a good 20 pounds of muscle, at
dude.
least.
Have you seen him squat lately?
Yeah, I not squat, but I watched him do the leg press, and he had every plate on there and people, and it's not like he was doing it one time or
No,
out
he
of
was
control. He was
no.
down and up. I mean, really contracted. Yeah, and his legs, dude. In the last 4 months, he had to put 4 or 5 inches in diameter around them legs, man.
I think he got 585 last time he maxed on squat.
Yeah,
And
it
it
doesn't
wasn't
surprise me.
and what was so crazy about it was so I've seen people do that. They go down and come right back or like go down and stay down for a little bit and then and then pop back up. He
Yeah.
went down, stopped, looked at me and said, "It's coming up," and did it
Ah,
and racked it. I was like,
yeah.
that's insane.
I like Will. Will's another one of those guys. He's very respectful, hard worker, no nonsense dude. When he's in the gym, he's in there to work. He ain't in
Mhm.
there to play. You know, he gets it done. And I like to see people work hard like that. So
He and I both one day we used, Neck, right? Or that's the guy who trains with Will, the
yeah,
tall dude.
yeah.
Uh, I was in there and I was doing my incline press movement that day, and Blocker and Neck were doing legs. And no, it was actually I was doing closed grip bench that day. And I was like, all right, let me get the salts. I did the salts and I did 12 closed grip with 225. And then right after that, my nose started bleeding because I was pushing so hard. My nose started dripping blood. And Blocker started squatting and took the salts, and his nose started dripping with blood too. So I don't know. It may have been the salts, or I don't know if we just pushed it that hard to where our nose just
Yeah.
both started bleeding. But It was kind of cool, honestly. We both had nosebleeds,
Yeah,
like running down.
like old school lifters, man. I'm
Yeah,
telling you right now, I went to a gym, I think it was Stark, Florida. And I walked into this gym, dude, and it smelled like blood and BO. And I
yeah.
got
It's
excited. I was like,
oh, I love it.
yeah, there were no air conditioner. It was hot as balls. Doors were open. Everybody's sweating like crazy. Old iron plates, dirty, stinky. I was like, yeah, I like this place.
Dude, that's how it is downstairs at the old or yeah, the old gym where they work out at Tallahassee High School, where
Yeah.
like the bath dude, I went down there for the first time I ever went down there. I was like, oh, I could have one of these in my houses and be just happy. It had a
Yeah.
leg press, it had these power racks, it had a quad extension, and it had a the leg curl was also the leg extension. So like it had a way
Yeah.
you could, and then
Yeah. I know
the
what you're
only
talking about.
the only thing that I would have changed about that gym down there, I would have dumbbells in it, and I would have a cable movement of some sort, like cable fly movement, because I've always like one guy, I can't remember his name. I saw it on Instagram the other day. He said the strongest guys in the gym, he said he used to work out when he was younger. He heard the strongest and biggest guys in the gym always say you only need three things: a cable movement, dumbbells, and a barbell with weights. He said
Yeah.
that's all you need to get big. And I was like, yeah, I like that. That analogy's not wrong, but I think it helps to have the pressing machines, the pec deck.
Well, it
Uh,
depends. It's different, right? So
right.
like if I was training like strength and conditioning, if I'm
Hmm.
working with football players, 90% of the focus is going to be on bench press,
Right.
squat, and deadlift.
Power
All
clean
power
also.
movements.
Yeah.
All power, yeah. Well, yeah, you do power clean mainly for speed, right?
Right.
Quickness, right? But those power movements, think about football. What is football? It is a quick power game. It is
Hmm.
explosive off the line. You want to get your hands on the defensive lineman's chest and push him off. Or if you're the defensive guy, you're going to be driving into the offensive lineman, driving through him,
Right.
right? In speed. But those are the movements, man,
Right.
that you want for strength and conditioning for football. Um, yes, the power clean or clean and jerk, however you want to call it, the Olympic lifts, those are also great movements for strength and conditioning because they do generate quickness, right? The
Right.
fast twitch, which is another thing that athletes need, right? They need that. They
100%.
need raw power and strength, and they need fast twitch quickness.
That's
So,
one thing. I'm listening.
no, no, you're good. You're good.
That's one thing that I realized about with strength and conditioning that I really like is like, so like I said, in high school, the weights programs, they were awful. And that's what Blocker and I always talk about is the strength portion of it was terrible because like on squat, they would want us to put the safety racks like seriously up to about here on you. And when you're not even getting a full range of motion on your squat. And it's
Yeah,
just that was one thing. Like I remember plain as day, one time Blocker was in there squatting and Coach Cook got on to him because he had the safety racks on the bottom rack. He said, "You're gonna hurt yourself." And Blocker said, "No, I'm not. I'm actually doing a real squat. I'm not just stopping halfway." We weren't even getting parallel, breaking parallel
yeah.
or getting to 90 degrees. It was seriously some of the like when I start doing it differently, I realized a big difference too. Because
Well,
when
you
I
got to
first,
teach. One of the things you teach in that scenario, right? When you're powerlifting on squat, you don't just teach how to do the squat correctly, you teach how to bail correctly.
hmm right,
So you can put the racks a little bit lower so that you can get full range of motion. Because when you're doing a power squat, it's
right,
not like doing what we're doing when we're doing hypertrophy for the quads, right?
right,
You want to go ass to grass because that's where all that power is generated. You are loading all the way into the hamstring and the glute, and you're using everything to explode up. You just need to learn how to bail, right?
right.
And
Yeah,
that's where people get in trouble. They don't know how to bail, so they put themselves in a bad situation. They don't know how to let go of the weight and to fall forward.
That
You know,
was one of the first things you taught me when we started squatting was you said, all right, you didn't learn this obviously, so I'm gonna teach you real quick. And it was when I was unracking my weights, I was taking 3 or 4 steps back. You said, no,
yeah,
two steps. It's
get in
dangerous. And you're
position, lock it up.
yeah. And that's one thing you said. He said, if you got a bell, one foot in front of the other, drop it and go.
Yeah, just fall forward. Get
Right.
out the way. That's why the racks are there, man.
Yeah. And that's one thing that because I remember it was funny because it was like really lightweight and I was squatting and it was before you taught me how to bail. I let go and I put my hands on the safety rack and pushed myself up like that.
And
And
I'm
you're like,
like, no,
no,
just
no, don't do that. Don't do
because you'll
that.
mess you start getting squirrely, you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna
Right.
jack your back up, you're gonna hurt things. If it gets to the point, if you got a weight on that you can't handle, you just need to bail. Just get away from it. And
Yeah.
because that is gonna prevent injury. And the worst setback you can have is not diet, it's not it's injury. You
100%.
get injured, and if you get injured too much and injured in the wrong places, it will affect you for life.
Takes
And
3 weeks for muscle to deteriorate.
yeah, and it's going to ruin your strength, and it's hard on the body. You don't want to do
Right.
that. You
Right.
don't want to get
That's
there. But hey, oh, go ahead,
yeah.
go ahead. What do you say?
You know Will Brooks that I work out with? Will
Uh,
Brooks. Kind
Probably
of
if
the
I saw
short.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah, yeah. Short, stocky guy,
yeah, that's Caden.
strong,
That's
strong guy,
Caden.
right?
That's Caden. Will
Okay,
Brooks is the one that had the torn labrum.
okay, yeah, 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 yeah. I know what you're talking
He
about.
he just got back into being able to lift heavy again, and he ended up hitting his old max very clean last time I saw. It was 275 on bench with a torn labrum,
Yeah.
and he hit it the other day, and it was so smooth, dude. I mean, but it took him. Let's see, he got surgery probably April of last year, and he's just now being able to get back into being able to hit that weight again. So that's one thing that I'm scared of with injury is like I just don't want to be in that big setback
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it's just not. You are better off. Like me. I'm an older guy, dude. I'm gonna
Hmm.
be 52 this year. And my joints are not what they used to be when I was a kid. So, and I'm a guy that likes to put some weight on the bar. I like to lift a little heavy when I can, but I don't put anything on the bar that I don't think I can get for 8 reps. Now, some
Right,
days I can only get it 6.
right,
Right? That happens. Maybe I go a little heavy and I only get 6. But in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I know I can lift this eight times or
right.
close,
Like
right?
when we did,
Because it's not like I'm doing 1 or 2.
right,
I just don't do that because anytime, I don't care who you are, I don't care how strong you are, what you're doing. Any good strong man or power lifter tell you, anytime you're maxing, you're at risk for injury.
100%. It's like that game, or not really even a game. It's just the way we used to do the military press machine that we used to do on shoulder day was we did it for 8 reps, and there was no set sets. There's nothing set in stone for the sets or anything. It was just you go, you keep adding weight, you get 8 reps, you add weight again. If you only get 7, that's when you're done.
Yeah,
That's
that's how I do most of my
mhm.
pressing movements. Bench, incline, shoulder press. I work to a heavy set of 8.
Right,
And I
and that
I just
was
I just don't go past that.
that was always fun too to me because I
Yeah.
felt like I always wanted to challenge myself to get the 8 reps that I didn't last time, and then that was a
Yeah.
fun movement to me always.
And for me, like, I mean, I'm not the strongest dude, but like now, I mean, I can sit and do a seated row in a machine with 240 pounds and get, 10, 12 reps.
Right,
I'm repping heavier weight, which I like. It's nice to do. But let me ask you this, Devin. What do you think the future holds for you? When do you want to do a show? Let's kind of wrap this up and figure out where you're
right.
headed.
All right. I want to hit 185 before I even consider doing a show weight
Yeah.
wise. I want to hit the bulk up to 185. And when that happens, if you think it looks good, if you think I'm ready for it, I'm ready to go. I'm ready. It's go time. I want to find a show that's about 20 weeks out at that point so we can take the cut slowly but surely. And then I'm ready to go with the show. as far as life going, I see myself graduating college, uh, getting my personal training stuff in, either my strength and conditioning or personal training. One day, I would love to open up my own gym and hopefully turn it into a franchise. I would love to do something like you're doing with the Works Hard People podcast and with the website. I want to be able to do something like that. Um, I want to be able to just, in general, I just want to be able to just really, I want to get my IFBB Pro card also. That's a big goal also, is the
Oh, that's
IFBB Pro
good.
card. That's a big
That's
one for me.
awesome.
I've been on that track trying to get that for, or that's been a goal in my mind for the
I'm going to be
past three or
very
four
honest
years.
with you, dude. You getting an IFBB Pro card has there's two factors:
Hmm.
work ethic, which you have,
Right,
and genetics, which you have.
right,
Okay. So the IFBB Pro card is not out of reach for you if you put in the work and you just for you it's all about the work. You have the
100%.
physique, you have the metabolism, you have the desire. Is that discipline going to stay focused long enough to get there? But you could 100% get an IFBB Pro card without a doubt. I have no question in my mind.
100%.
It's just going to come down to the discipline of eating and lifting, eating and lifting.
Which I have that discipline. It's like actually last night, even not last night, Friday night, I had a bunch of guys. After my lift, I was outside talking to some friends of mine, and they're like, "Hey, you want to come with us, hang out? Like, let's just go out. We're gonna go have fun. We're gonna go chill at our buddy's house." And I was like, "I got 300 calories left on the day, dude. I got to go get my food in." They're like, man, they were like, go to Dairy Queen and get you some chili cheese fries and a burger. I'm like, no, can't have those kind of calories.
No, that's what it takes, man. That is what it takes. The
Right.
guys that make it are the guys that are disciplined. They eat good food, whole foods. Their chicken, their rice, their vegetables. They're not out there eating a bunch of cheeseburgers and crap. You look at the greats, man. Even Cutler on a bulk had abs. He
Right.
had a layer over him, but he had abs. He
He
was
still got
300
abs.
plus pounds, but had abs.
Look at Eddie Hall. I mean, he's got
Yeah,
abs.
yeah. So, but that's years of building
Right.
muscle, right?
Right.
Eddie Hall is like, I mean, you pull all the fat and skin away, that's all you'd see is chunks of muscle everywhere.
Hmm.
Like he's a
Eddie
he's a big
Hall,
old dude.
Brian Shaw. Have you seen
Yeah.
it's something on History Channel, Strongest Man in History.
Love it.
That was one of my
Love it.
favorite series. I love
Love
that
it.
series.
Yeah, I loved it. It's good. Well,
That was
hey,
one of my
Devin, it's
favorites.
it's it's been a minute. We're gonna have to cut this off. We don't want it to go
Sounds good, man.
forever. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you. I as a coach love working with you.
I appreciate that.
You're one of those people that I mean you're a coach's dream. You work hard, you ask questions, you're not afraid to call. I don't understand sometimes people hire a coach and they're like they don't call and then you'll talk to them and they'll be like, "Yeah, I wanted to call, but listen, if you need help, that's what I'm here for. You call
All right.
me and I'll help you." So you're engaged in your journey. I love those things. I appreciate your work ethic. It is inspiring and you are inspiring others. So you
I
keep up
appreciate
that
that.
hard work. Everybody out there, you know what I'm saying. You get out there and you work hard, peoples, and remember, don't forget to smile. Thanks so much for watching or listening. Remember, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can find us on Facebook at Work Hard Peoples LLC or Instagram at Work Hard Peoples LLC. You can also find us on our website at workhardpeoples.com. Have a great day or night. Don't forget to smile.